I'm Lisa Curvin, a Chief Investigator in the ARC Centre of Excellence for the Digital Child, Professor of Education and Director of the Early Start Research Institute at UOW.
I'm Stephen Howard, a Chief Investigator with the ARC Centre of Excellence for the Digital Child and a Professor in Education and Psychology at University of Wollongong.
Over the past decade, we've spent quite some time conducting research with and about young children, visiting early childhood education and care services, and exploring our ideas with children and families and other adults in the early start discovery space and in our children's technology play space.
One of the leading concerns we hear from parents and educators is about children's screen time. While unregulated use of technology can be problematic, our research shows that we need more nuance than simply considering how much time children spend on screens. Screen time is video calling with grandparents, it's dance parties, reading ebooks, creating digital works of art, and reminiscing about photos. Just like other resources, like books and blocks, digital technologies offer opportunities for co-use, collaboration, conversation, learning, and play.
We realise these opportunities and benefits when we use digital technologies intentionally, strategically, and together. But how do we do that? We looked across our data, and there are 5 key messages that we'd like to share with educators about positive and productive ways digital technology can be used with children. First, prioritise high-quality interactions. High-quality interactions are the priority. Educators know the importance of high-quality interactions, those warm, responsive relationships where educators connect with children's needs and emotions and create safe spaces. I'm sure we've all seen instances where technology becomes the focus and there is little or no conversation.
This isn't the sort of use of technology that we would advocate. Rich, sustained conversation and interactions are essential. Consider what's happening for these children as they use digital microscopes. They're looking closely, talking about what they see, building their language base, and fueling further investigation. Technology can enable rich interactions where educators and children wonder and ask questions, take time for sustained conversations, and think deeply. The design of digital technology is influential here. We want experiences that enable talk rather than constrain it. Yet digital technologies are often designed to be for solitary use and to be the focus of the activity.
This doesn't need to be the case though, and we can resist these design pressures. In this example, we see a young child and their adult manipulating augmented reality on an iPad, watching it projected on the wall. They talk about the technology, they talk about what they can see, they make connections to what they know about the ocean and its creatures.
Digital technology should enhance, not replace, meaningful adult-child interactions. Technology can provide opportunities to access information, context and experiences not otherwise possible. There are some amazing virtual tours that can be explored and expertise that can be sought. This group of children were designing and building bridges using Lego. They had investigated the features of well-known bridges by looking at digital images. Then, after starting their Lego bridges, they brought in an engineer through a virtual connection to share their constructions and get feedback. We encourage educators to use digital technologies in ways that are intentional, that complement the learning or play experience, rather than being the focus of it, and that enable meaningful, high-quality interactions. Katie shares her insights about using digital technologies.
The use of digital technology is kind of interwoven, I guess. So usually an experience might start out from a child's interest or intentional teaching, and then along the way we might use it to research something, to extend our knowledge, to find a picture. And then it's kind of just a little step along the way to extend the children's knowledge, but not a focal point, because then we'll extend upon there with our new learning, understanding, knowledge, and then we might revisit that along the way.
Number 2, we encourage educators to follow children's interests. The most exciting ways we have seen digital technologies used are when they are in response to children's curiosity, not just because they are available, but because they offer new possibilities for learning. In this way, technology does not only connect to and follow children's interests, but it extends and sustains pursuit of these interests through technology use that is interactive, open-ended, and exploratory. Watch as these children code robots through mazes they have created. Notice their creativity and problem solving in action. There are also many things that are better done without technology, maybe even most. Nothing replaces the joy of a read aloud. We don't advocate for digital technologies to be used to do the same thing just in a digital way. But digital technologies can be powerful tools that enable new possibilities. They can also help children express their ideas and interests in diverse and multimodal ways. We engage children in a process of planning, scripting, filming and editing a film. They worked in groups with adult support and were able to create some wonderful films to share with their peers and family.
When digital tools align with children's interests, they can motivate learning, support inquiry-based exploration, and help children make sense of complex ideas. Here, slow-motion filming was used to explore the properties of bubbles and water and other complex constructs. Number 3, we encourage digital technology use that engages children in active ways, not merely passive viewing. The ways educators use technology should encourage children to be creators, not just consumers of digital content. Using digital technologies to create, build, investigate, hypothesize, or manipulate encourage active thinking and decision-making. In this example, children and their educators recorded a bank of sounds while on a walk to enable them to explore natural and person-made sounds. The investigation happened in real time, but also created an archive to share and examine back at the service. As another example, here children are using photographs they took of clouds, drawing on these to create artworks and accompanying stories. Children are actively engaged when they're thinking, problem-solving, learning, and playing. Consider what's happening as a child views demonstrations of surfing skills and recreates these using a Zoom connection to surf alongside an expert. Here again, digital technologies can generate new learning opportunities that might not be possible otherwise, like visualizing abstract concepts or enabling collaborative storytelling. When children do this with their peers and educators, it becomes a social experience, fostering communication and shared expertise. Consider also the opportunities augmented reality offers to well-known and much-loved fort play. The fort is transformed into a context children may or may not know. A narrative is at play. Consider how the use of a 360 camera can create new ways to investigate the local environment. Katie talks to us about how children's interest in Pamela Allen's picture books led to investigation, connection, and collaboration.
I have a real passion for literacy in the early years, which kind of sparked the little project at the start of the year where I introduced the children to my favourite author, who is Pamela Allen. So we started to read all her books, and the children really took a liking to Mr. McGee. We drew pictures and our favourite parts, and one of the children actually said, "Oh, can we send these to Pamela?" So we used social media. Like the children and I sent a message to her, and she replied, and we said, "Oh, could we send these things to you?" And then I think it was about maybe like 2 weeks after that, it was like highlight of my career, that we received an email back to preschool from Pamela Allen. And she thanked us for the pictures, and she'd asked us if we could actually write her a book about Mr. McGee. And then we created a book about Mr. McGee, which we put together, and then we sent back to her again. And then within like minutes, like she'd replied again, saying how much she loved the story, because I was like, I wonder if she actually read it. Like, do you know what I mean? I thought, and then she commented on what had happened in the story, and that was a really exciting thing. Using like digital technology really allowed us to connect with an author, a famous author who lived in another country, and then allowed us to share our stories with her. And without making that connection, they wouldn't have developed that love for her, I guess, that I have as well. So yeah.
Number 4. For children, there is not digital play and non-digital play. It's just play. Children are firmly in a digital world, so much so that they can't and don't make the same demarcations we do between digital and non-digital activities. It is often us adults who make the distinction as we try to understand the role of digital technologies in the lives of children. Children move fluidly between physical and digital spaces, moving in and out of the digital and non-digital worlds. Naomi talks about digital technologies being another thing to support her teaching practice.
The digital devices are just another resource. It's not a special thing. I think that's just my teaching practice, and a lot of the teaching practice that happens here is you utilise a lot within one experience, but maybe don't utilise any of it.
She shares her reflections about how her flexibility and responsiveness enables children to move in and out of digital and non-digital.
The funny thing is, I grew up not in a digital world, but these children, they've grown up in that. So it's them that it's just another aspect of their life. They're the ones that are making it seamless because they're so familiar with it. They're more familiar with it at home than at preschool. So I'm the one that is more thinking about how to incorporate it and how to make it flow. I'm thinking about that. They're not. It's just part of their life now.
Digital technologies complement and extend traditional play, not replace it. They are powerful tools that, when used in line with learning and play intentions, offer wonderful possibilities. They can allow children to explore and express themselves in new ways. They can enrich understandings and spark curiosity. Look at the excitement of this child as he sees himself projected onto the wall. Notice how he moves in response.
Consider also these children and their educator who are creating a collaborative artwork. Their process is filmed to enable them to view their process of construction as they examine their artwork. This is a nice artifact to share too. The primary way for children to learn and prepare for their digital citizenship is through discussion, modeling, and practice. Taking time to talk about digital technologies is important, including safe ways of using technology like modeling consent for taking images and inviting children to have a say in images that are shared. Katie talks about the importance of modeling digital technology use to empower children.
Through modelling how we interact with the device really gives the children a developed understanding of how it will be used, I guess. And I feel like when we entrust in them, oh, you're the expert, here you go, they have that ownership and, oh, okay, I'm going to go and, use this, and kind of like a shared resource, I guess.
Number 5, we encourage educators to trust their expertise and reflect on how digital technologies can be used intentionally and beneficially within their philosophies of learning and play. Educators are experts in pedagogy. As educators, you know how to plan, observe, and respond to children's learning in intentional and meaningful ways. Drawing on these points we've made, we pose some reflective questions you might like to think about when reflecting on your technology use with the children you work with. Questions like, what are your intentions for the experience and children's learning? Does the digital technology offer something new to that experience? Could it enrich or sustain the experience? Are digital technologies being used to support children's interests? And are children being actively engaged?
The way we think about digital technologies now, there is often a fear, a pressure, or a fixation on time. We should ensure digital technologies are used in moderation, but we also know that many countries are relaxing their time recommendations, focusing instead on the quality of the experiences that involve digital technologies.
Our research supports this move, showing that consideration solely of the time spent on screens is oversimplified and ignores the benefits that technology can offer and a responsibility to prepare children for their futures.
So we're not saying that time doesn't matter at all, but we encourage you to think about what digital technologies you use, when you use it, where you use it, how you use it, and why you use it. Instead of viewing screen time as either good or bad, we encourage educators to pay attention to the quality and the interactions and the experiences that they create, and where and when digital technologies can support these. The stops, the flows, and the moments of creativity that unfold in real time and ultimately transform children's learning and play.